The snow fell softly that night, the kind of snow that makes the world look gentle even when it isn't. On a quiet street lit by flickering holiday lights, a woman sat alone on a cold bench outside a closed bakery, her shoulders trembling as silent tears ran down her face. Christmas Eve was supposed to be full of warmth, laughter, and sound, yet for her there was only stillness. No carols, no voices, no bells. Just the weight of another year ending with no one waiting for her. She pressed her gloved hands together, trying to stop the shaking, unaware that this single night would soon change her life forever. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in small moments that can rewrite a person's destiny, take a moment now to like this video, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Stories. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Her name was Elena, though no one had spoken it aloud to her in days. She had been deaf since childhood, not born that way, but made so by an illness that swept through her body when she was 6 and left her world forever quiet. Over the years she learned to read lips, to feel vibrations, to communicate with her hands and her eyes. She learned independence because she had no choice. What she never learned was how to stop feeling invisible. That Christmas Eve, the city was full of movement. Families hurried past with bags and wrapped boxes, couples laughed under scarves, children tugged excitedly at their parents' sleeves. Elena saw it all as if watching through thick glass. She was part of the scene, yet never truly inside it. She had once dreamed of being a graphic designer. Her hands were talented, her sense of color and shape precise. For a while, life had almost worked out, a small apartment, a job she loved, a partner who promised to learn her language. But promises can fade quietly, just like sound did for her. When her partner left, the apartment went with him, and the job followed soon after when the company downsized. Elena told herself she was strong, and she was, but strength does not mean you do not feel pain. It only means you keep walking while carrying it. That evening, she had nowhere to go. The shelter near her old neighborhood was full, and the last train ticket she could afford had taken her to this side of town, where she hoped to sleep somewhere warm and safe. The bench outside the bakery was not warm, but it was familiar. The owner used to give her day-old bread when she worked nearby. Tonight the windows were dark, the door locked, and the smell of sugar and yeast was only a memory. Elena wrapped her coat tighter and stared at the snow, letting the quiet swallow her sobs. Not far away, another life was moving through the same night, carrying its own quiet burdens. Mark was walking carefully, one hand gripping a small child's mittened fingers, the other holding a paper grocery bag. He was a single father, something he never imagined he would be. 2 years earlier, cancer had taken his wife quickly, leaving him with grief he barely understood and a 4-year-old daughter named Lily who still waited for her mother to come home. Mark did his best. He worked long hours, learned how to braid hair from online videos, and stretched every dollar. Christmas was hard. He wanted it to feel magical for Lily, even though his own heart still felt broken. Lily loved lights. She loved how they blinked and glowed, how they turned dark streets into something special. As they walked, she tugged Mark's hand toward every decorated window, her excitement silent but obvious in her bouncing steps. Mark smiled, tired, grateful. It was in one of those pauses, as Lily pressed her nose to a window, that Mark noticed the woman on the bench. At first he almost looked away, trained by years of city living to mind his own business. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way her shoulders shook, or how her eyes seemed fixed on nothing and everything at once. Lily noticed her too. Children see what adults often avoid. She slowed, turned, and stared openly, her small face full of concern. Mark followed her gaze and felt a pull in his chest. He knew that look. It was the look of someone who had run out of places to belong. He hesitated, calculating risks, responsibilities, the safety of his child. But then he remembered how many times someone had helped him when he thought he couldn't go on. Kindness had carried him through his darkest days. He felt suddenly and clearly that this moment was asking something of him. Mark approached slowly, careful not to startle her. Elena noticed movement and looked up, her eyes widening slightly. She prepared herself for the usual outcome: averted gazes, awkward pity, or, worse, irritation. Mark crouched down to her eye level, Lily standing close beside him. When Mark realized she wasn't responding to his words, understanding dawned. He had grown up with a cousin who was deaf. He remembered enough, not perfectly, but enough to try. Carefully, deliberately, he lifted his hands and began to sign. The message was simple, shaped by sincerity more than skill. He signed that it was cold, that she was not alone, that they were going home, and that she was welcome to come with them. There were no spoken words, no dramatic gestures, just hands moving gently through the air, eyes steady and kind. Elena froze. For a heartbeat she thought she was imagining it. People did not do this. Strangers did not see her, truly see her, and then offer warmth without asking for anything in return. Her breath caught, and fresh tears welled up, but this time they carried something different. Hope. She hesitated, fear rising alongside longing. Life had taught her to be cautious. Offers could hide dangers. But Mark's expression held no pressure, only an open invitation. Lily, sensing the emotion, stepped closer and held out a candy cane she had been saving. Elena stared at the small, red and white stick, then at the child's earnest face. Her heart broke open in a way that hurt and healed at the same time. Slowly she nodded. The walk to Mark's apartment felt unreal to Elena, as if she were moving through a dream. The cold still bit at her cheeks, but inside her chest something warmed with every step. Mark's apartment was modest, small but clean, filled with signs of a life built carefully around a child. Paper snowflakes decorated the walls. A tiny tree stood in the corner, its lights blinking softly. Elena removed her coat, hands trembling again, this time from exhaustion and emotion. Mark showed her the couch, signed that she could rest, that food would be ready soon. They shared a simple meal. Elena watched Lily chatter animatedly, her laughter silent but visible in her bright eyes and wide smiles. Mark moved around the kitchen with practiced ease, glancing often at Elena to make sure she felt comfortable. There was no rush, no interrogation about her past, just space. For someone who had spent so long defending her right to exist, that space felt like a gift beyond measure. As the evening deepened, Elena felt herself slowly exhale a tension she hadn't realized she carried. She helped Lily arrange the last ornament on the tree, her hands gentle, precise. Mark watched from a distance, something loosening inside him too. He had worried that his life would always feel incomplete, that the loss of his wife had closed a door he could never open again. Watching Elena with his daughter, he realized that life did not replace what was lost, but it could still add something new. Later, as Lily fell asleep clutching her candy cane, Elena sat quietly on the couch, wrapped in a warm blanket. She thought of all the Christmas Eves she had endured alone, all the nights she had cried where no one could hear her. Tonight was different. Tonight someone had listened without sound. Mark signed again, clumsily but earnestly, telling her she could stay as long as she needed, that tomorrow they would figure things out together. Elena nodded, her face wet with tears she did not bother to hide. This night did not magically fix everything. Elena would still face challenges. Mark would still wake up some mornings aching with grief. But something fundamental had shifted. Two broken paths had crossed, not to merge perfectly, but to support each other for a while. In the days that followed, Elena would help Lily with art projects, and Mark would help Elena connect with resources and work. They would learn each other's rhythms, their silences and strengths. Kindness, it turned out, did not need grand gestures. Sometimes it was as simple as noticing a woman crying on a bench and choosing to stop. If this story has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who might need hope, and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Your engagement keeps these true-to-life moments of humanity alive and spreading. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below and tell us what kindness means to you, or share a moment when a stranger changed your life in a small but powerful way. On that quiet Christmas Eve, as snow continued to fall and lights blinked against the dark, Elena slept under a roof filled with gentle warmth. She did not hear the hum of the heater or the distant sounds of the city, but she felt something far more important. She felt seen, and sometimes that is all it takes to bring someone home.